up. And you might, take 3 or 4 lines before you get this perfectly. See, I was even drooping mine a little bit. You have to watch that to pull it up so it's in direction 7. Vertical lines, and you can go back later and clean up your drawing. Again, direction 7. There we go. You keeping up with me all right?
Commander Mark, Commander Mark, Commander Mark.
Hi, Zubtron.
Look what I have.
I know what this is. Don't tell me. It's what you dip into soap and you blow big bubbles with.
Oh, Commander, you are being very silly.
Oh, I know. It's a hand puppet, right?
No, Commander.
Okay,
It is
what
an
is it?
architect's
Explain.
tool. It is Dick Schaefer's tool.
Like almost like a straight edge, huh?
He uses
You
it
tell me how
to
to
make
use it.
circles. And this is an architect's scale.
How to use that?
I could measure your building here. It measures 20 feet.
That's a pretty big building. Actually, it's smaller, but that scales it up, huh? That sounds I'm really impressed by how much you're learning over there. I can't wait to see some more information about the architect.
I can't wait either. I think I'm going to go back and learn more.
Okay, see you later, Zepteron. Direction 1, and then we'll line this up over here. See all these lines line up? You can even draw these guidelines if you want to make sure they're lining up. Turn the corner again. Now this right here, if you can really neatly draw this building with 1, 2, 3 steps and then connect the bottom, if you can do this in 30 seconds, you think you can do that in 30 seconds? You might want to start giving yourself 2 minutes to see if you can't draw that. And then you'll get it down to a minute, then you'll get it down to 30 seconds, and your skill level will jump dramatically once you learn how to draw these shapes, both direction 1, or direction 7, and direction 1 steps in 30 seconds. It's kind of difficult, but it's a good challenge for you. Now let's do, cast shadows. I almost forgot to put those on there. Put the cast shadow here. Cast shadow here. Was that fun? Did you enjoy that? All right, let's make one that's a little bit taller and give you some ideas for your own secret city building. I'll start at the very top up here. Put your finger in the middle, a dot above, a dot below. That's my favorite part. Now, instead of coming off in direction 7 like I did before, I'm going to come across in direction 1. All right? Draw the step building coming off here. Line this line up in direction what? Direction 1, direction 7. Use those alignment terms. Makes it easier to learn how to draw. That's our secret city code. Okay? Make sure those line up. It almost looks like the letter L, doesn't it? But that's the beginning of the step. And if you wanted to draw steps going all the way down, you could do that. Just continue these steps. But I'm going to turn the corner and come over in this way. Direction 7, direction 7. You have to be careful from that drooping line. It's very dangerous when you're drawing to droop those lines. See, if someone's walking down the steps, they'd slip off if it droops too much. And to add something different, you can even taper these in a little bit if you'd like. And then go in the opposite direction. Loosen. Very loose lines right here. Okay. I'm going to warm up just before I draw this long line. Take aim between these 2 dots and there we go. I make sound effects for those long lines. It gives me the courage to blast across the paper. Now you want to do something different to the bottom of this building? A light line, and we'll put a doorway over here. A dark right here, and leave some room. And then draw direction 1 up at the top of the doorway. And then draw the thickness of the doorway back there. And you can even put a hallway back there. You see? And then we'll draw that. Add some shading to the left side. Add some shading to the left side. Now this is a tough exercise. You might have to do it 3 or 4 times before your steps won't droop or slant down too much. It's kind of difficult, but practice it, no problem. Now see, if you make mistakes right off the bat, that's okay. That's how you learn, you make a couple mistakes and you practice, you get better and better as you go along. Anybody can learn how to draw. It just takes a little practice. See how it's a little bit darker underneath the ledge right here? And then put the cast shadows. The sun's coming from up in this area. It's coming down. It hits the top and the right side, but this is very dark. So put a little shadow here on the side. And a shadow here on the side also. Make sure you're enthusiastic when you pick up that pencil, because enthusiasm will help you conquer that flat surface and draw in 3D, 3-dimensional drawing. Draw, 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 about 30 minutes a day, and when you're practicing your drawing with all that enthusiasm ready to pour into your drawing, right? Keep that magic word or that important art word in your mind, alignment. You love to draw, right? And I love to draw. But there's never been a club just for people like us who like to draw. So I've decided to organize a special club just for you, just for me. It's called the Secret City Drawing Club. Now, each week I have a special drawing I want you to complete. And when you complete it, you put it in an envelope, you mail it in to me. And as soon as you put it in the mail, I'll make you an automatic member of the elite, super cool Secret City Club. Now, I want to make this club more popular than chocolate-filled donuts, okay? So send in your drawings right away. Now, this week's drawing activity is to create your own planet transportation system underground, under the planet, the underplanet area. Here's what Cindy did for her underground transportation system. See that? The monorail system with little people walking on the roadway. Neat idea. And here's another idea. Here's Tim Flynn's underground transportation system. It's a little furry fellow riding on top of a snail. Isn't that a neat idea? Now, as soon as you finish with your drawings, send them into the Secret City Club, Post Office Box 444, Moraga, California, 94556.
But Architect Dick Schaefer, how do you use drawing in your work?
Oh, Zebtron, I use drawing in many ways. Here's a project, for instance, where I use several kinds of drawings. In this project, I had to fix up an old building, especially the front, and paying particular attention to the ground floor of the facade.
Did you have to draw it?
Yes, I did. I made this drawing as part of the ground floor facade design. This is a very precisely drawn drawing.
How did you draw it?
I used this pencil, sharper and harder than Commander's marks, and I used scales and templates.
What is a template?
A template, this is a template. This is a circle template, Zebtron. I have several more for appliances and even stairs.
And you use those in your drawing?
But not in this drawing did I use these templates.
Then what did you do after you drew this?
After I decided that this was a good design, we used the same drawing to determine what color to paint the facade.
Well, how did you know what color you should use?
We picked the colors that we thought that would make the facade look best.
I like the color pink.
I can tell, Zebtron.
And what are all those things next to the doors?
Oh, these are called pilasters. In this case, these are ionic fluted pilasters.
That is a big word.
These, Zebtron, are other ornaments. These are called garlands.
They are very attractive. What do they do?
We just used those to apply to the building to make it beautiful.
And then what happened after you drew it?
Well, we finally went to work using the drawings, and if you'll put these photographs back, I'll show you how far we've come. The building's almost done now. There are a few things yet to be done. One of the things that we have to do is put the garlands on the building. And I brought with me today half of a garland. Can you tell where this goes, Zebtron?
I believe it will go over the doorway. Did you have to draw this too?
That's right, Zebtron. You can see on this drawing just where I drew the garland.
It looks exactly as it is. You have so many interesting projects. Please show me more.
This project, Zebtron, involved fixing up an old building, and one of the things we decided to do was to put a new porch on the old buildings. Here it is before we got started, and here it is when it's completed.
There is much improvement. Did you need to draw this too?
Yes, we did, and there's several drawings that I brought along today to illustrate this. One of the things that we did was to make a drawing like this, a quick sketch with a pen like this, to show the client what the building would look like with a new porch on. The client said he liked that very much.
It looks nice. And then what happened next?
Well, as we made the drawing for construction, which is this drawing, we incorporated the new porch design until we got it just as we liked on all the row houses.
This is a row house.
That's right.
Schaefer, is a row house and a rowboat the same thing?
Not that I know of, Zebtron.
I see. Tell me more.
Well, once we got the drawing this far, the design this far, we knew that we wanted this porch. I made still a larger scale drawing that the carpenters used to pick out the components to actually build the porches.
There's so much detail and so many things to remember.
Zebtron, this is the project as it was, and this is the project with all the new porches on the row houses.
This is very, very nice. You do nice work.
Thank you, Zebtron.
You have so many interesting projects.
Another project where we fixed up an old building was this. And one of the drawings we made was a very precise elevation of the front of the building.
This is a drawing that you have of the building. How did you do this drawing so precisely?
We used parallel bars and triangles, and again our mechanical pencils.
This is very, very nice.
This is a scale drawing, you know.
A scale drawing. You
That's
must
right.
have used this tool.
I
Let me
used my
measure
scale.
this tool. Using this tool, I see that this building is 11 inches high.
Well, not really, Zebtron. The drawing is 11 inches high, but this is a scale drawing, and in this case, a 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. So when we use our 1/4 inch scale, we find that the building is actually 44 feet high.
That is a very large structure. I am impressed. Then what did you do after you drew it?
We made another drawing that an architect often uses called the rendering. This shows the building completed, and it's a very realistic pictorial drawing.
It is very attractive. How did you color it in?
In this case, we used colored pencils and watercolors. And we also put a little plan on the side to help explain the building.
What does this plan show?
This is a plan showing looking down on all the floors. In this case, we had 4 floors, all of them looking like that.
Do you have drawings of personal environments?
Well, I've got one more project. This one is a house that someone wanted an addition built on. The original house is on this side, and I made this little sketch, again using a little pen, to show the owner what the new addition would look like next to her house.
Do you have detailed plans?
Yes. After she said she wanted this addition, a drawing like this was made, a very technical drawing, but this is the kind of drawing that you have to make in order to get it built.
It is so complicated. Maybe you can help me learn more so I can create more environments on paper?
Sure, Zebtron, I'd be happy to.
Thank you very much, Architect Dick Schaefer. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Now, since we have a special architect here today, I have some drawings of an architect, how he started drawing, and after he learned the magic words, what happened to his drawings. Let's take a look at the first one. This is Ed Ebright, 3rd grade. This is his boat and his airplane. Now, he learned those magic words in 4th grade. His confidence was up, his enthusiasm was up, and look at this drawing he was doing a year later. Now, this is where he started thinking about being an architect for a career, and look at this. 5th grade, he practiced some buildings, practiced some airplanes, beautiful flag, and then look at this. He went on to become a very successful architect. Isn't that nice? There's Ed Ebright's drawing when he was an adult. Now, when you learn these magic words of drawing, you control that piece of paper, you can dump your enthusiasm into the piece of paper and draw some really beautiful 3-dimensional drawings. Now, before I add the anti-gravity devices to my space platform up here, I wanted to give you a little tour of the secret city so far. Now let's take a look. Over here we have our planetscape where all the Unibears live, and then we have the underplanets underground area, and then pretty soon I'll add something here. I'm not quite sure what. And then we have our Unibear Island, and we have the water system for the underplanet area, and then we have our space, our moonscape right here, very spacey looking buildings, and of course we have a whole fleet of flying saucers. Now the reason I'm creating the space platform is so these folks up here have some place to land with their flying saucers. They can't fly around forever, right? They have to go and fuel up sometime. So I'm going to add some anti-gravity devices to my space platform, make the midline longer. Now this is real similar to what we drew for our lesson today. The step building is a great practice drawing. It's really fun too because you can go in different directions. You can add different things to your drawing. It's really up to you. Now this is perfect for your imagination because you could just take it and go to town with these shapes and make them into anything you want. Now there's that space anti-gravity device, and later on I might even add some turbines or something underneath here to make it float. And then we'll add lines right here some kind of power generator or maybe some floating discs or something underneath here. A foreshortened square. Direction what? What direction's this? Do you remember what the two directions are? Direction 1 and direction 7. I'll go up in direction 7 right here. Direction 1, direction 7. Just around my flying saucers. You see, I wanted to have flying saucers lined up forever up here, but I realized I didn't have enough room. So I put flying saucers on top of each one of these steps. Do you like that idea? Okay, I thought you would. So that's why I added them in there. Flying saucers are really cute. They enhance any drawing you draw. It makes it a little more interesting, a little flavor for your drawing. Now there's this one fellow who has really neat imagination. His name is Jim Henson. He's the fellow who designed lots of the Muppets. And if you ever want any ideas for any of your moonscape creatures or any of your planet inhabitants, just look up some of the Muppet characters. Those are neat to get ideas from. We'll draw some shading here using cross-hatching. All the way down. Okay, I'm trying to be consistent for the whole drawing. I started the cross-hatching up here, so I'll bring it down into the anti-gravity devices. Now remember, you have your notepad, right? And you're drawing some of these notes, some of these ideas on your own secret city drawings, your own secret city murals that you have started at your house, right? I'll try to do the cross-hatching, switch sides so it's a little more comfortable. Now, don't be afraid to move your piece of paper around. You have your piece of paper there, and you don't have to just sit and have it straight in front of you. You can take it, you can turn it upside down if it's easier for you to draw. You can turn it sideways. You can move it around as long as you're comfortable with your position. And see, you draw more comfortably, more fluid, more flowing if you're comfortable in front of your piece of paper. That's why you can move it around and make it a little more. There we go. Add some cross-hatching, then I'll come down this side. I almost forgot to draw some darkness underneath the overhang. Right down here. This is my favorite part. I love drawing on my mural. This is where I can just pour out my imagination. You know, sometimes when I start drawing, I lose complete track of time. I sit down to do my 20-minute drawing workout or my drawing exercise. It's like drawing aerobics, you know? And after a while, I realize I've been sitting there for more than an hour. Flies right by. Does that ever happen to you when you're drawing? Do you ever lose track of time? Go along here. Zebtron's still over there with Dick Schaefer learning more about architecture. Wonder what they're doing.
Dick Schaefer, I am going to put my floating personal environment on a piece of paper like you do your work. Can you show me what tools I will need?
Sure, Zebtron. Here's a template that shows an anti-gravity oval. It makes it very easy to draw it. We could put yours over in this corner.
Oh, incorrect.
How's that?
Incorrect. I want my oval on this side of the room.
Oh, well, let me erase that, Zebtron.
You have an electric eradicator.
Well, you could call it that, Zebtron. Would you prefer it over on this side?
That would meet with my satisfaction.
Good, Zebtron.
Now I'm going to add a little more cross-hatching up in this area. Come down, being consistent throughout my whole entire drawing. Now, when you add shading, it makes these corners really stand out, doesn't it? See how you can almost reach your hand around that corner? And I forgot to put a little more shading or blackness on underneath this area. All the way down. And it makes it look like you can reach underneath that little connecting platform for our anti-gravity device. Now, what else can I do to my anti-gravity device? I'm going to build down just a few more layers. Okay. But do you remember how I do that? I put a dot right below the near corner. So we'll do it one more layer underneath here. That dot is super important. So if you ever decide to try something like this, if you use that dot, it helps your lines line up a little more efficiently, a little more organized. And that alignment, as our magic word says, super important. Direction 1 here, direction 7. You can come down as many layers as you want. I'll add that layer, and then I'll add the cross-hatching over on the side for shading. And I'll come over here and add the other diagonal angles. Now I want to add one more layer here. This is so fun. Get to create as you move along. See, I didn't even pencil these in. These are just off the top of my head some inventive ideas. These happen to you a lot when you draw, huh? You just start drawing, all these ideas start pouring into your head. And we'll add some shading to the left side. What would happen if I shaded the right side? Do you know what would happen? It would be incorrect, wouldn't it? Because I want all the light source coming from the right up here, and it comes down and hits the right side of all these areas. Now, if you have time, try stacking up about 15 of these on top of each other on a spare piece of paper. This is a really good exercise to practice. I'm going to take my darker pen and outline this small scoop. I'm going to eventually draw a row of flying saucers, and they'll use this scoop to take off of, and fly off into space so they can go on their adventures and their journeys to seek out different areas, to talk to new people. Now, practice your drawing a lot. Use that magic word alignment, and I'll see you next time.